What she's
to this, people.
highlighting there ties into this next portion of this one big segment very well.
Good.
Because what are we? We are people who just want to, enjoy
We just want an easy life.
country with an easy
We don't
life.
ask for much.
You just want to smoke our pipes and live, the traditional life. Now, someone else pointed this out this week, and this has expanded across certainly the alternative media. And I think, well, look, let's just watch it. Yeah, let's just see who has popped up to make what statement about this, okay? And we'll explain why this makes a hell of a lot of sense in a minute.
Actually, I talked to friends of mine in England, and I was like, hey, aren't you worried about this? Like, shouldn't you be protesting more? And I mean, the problem is that like the legacy mainstream media doesn't cover the stuff. They're like, oh, everything's fine, you know?
Most people aren't even aware of it until they come knocking on your door.
Yeah, until so. I mean, these like lovely sort of small towns in England, Scotland, Ireland. They've been like sort of living their lives quietly. They're like hobbits, frankly. So it's in fact, J.R.R. Tolkien based the hobbits on people he knew in small town England, because they were just like lovely people who liked to, smoke their pipe and have nice meals, and everything's pleasant. The hobbits in the Shire. The Shire, he was talking about, places like Hertfordshire, like the Shire is around in the Greater London area, Oxfordshire type of thing. The reason they've been able to enjoy the Shire is because hard men have protected them from the dangers of the world. And but since they have almost no exposure to the dangers of the world, they don't realize that they're there until one day, 1,000 people show up in your village of 500 out of nowhere and start raping the kids.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But not so long ago, people in the Shires were being pilloried and being mocked, like the where Clarkson's from.
Yes.
The set, they call it the so and so set, don't they?
Pop Gear.
Yeah, no, the actual I'm trying to think.
Oh wait, yes,
wherever he's from, they just call it the so and so set, the so and so clique, wherever it is.
Yeah.
And you'd be mocked. Oh, you live in Berkshire, do you? Oh, posh in Berkshire. Yeah, great. We like living in Berkshire because it is bloody posh. It is nice in Berkshire, like it probably was down in some of the posh areas in Cornwall before it went mental. So, but then, we can't have that. We can't have nice areas. No, heaven forbid we have nice shires and nice little villages, nice little place, nice little villages in the New Forest, the Cotswolds set, chocolate box cottages, stone buildings.
Yep.
British fates.
Not touched for hundreds of years, right?
You can't have it. You really can't have it. You're not allowed to have it. You're not upsetting anyone doing that. You're not upsetting anyone. You're not imposing your beliefs on anyone.
Yeah.
Unless your belief is that will make things for homemade jam and chutney.
Yeah. Women's Institute.
It's like Hot Fuzz, isn't it? Is that
yes,
like bucolic, typical bucolic, stereotypical British village, which is what we're known for.
Yes, and it's funny you say that because the reaction is typical. I mean, for a start, and it's funny that they chose this subject because I don't know if you tell, but I happen to know a little something about The Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, having read The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion, The Unfinished Tales, The History of Middle-earth, like 1 to 7 or whatever. Played the Middle-earth role-playing game. I tested The Lord of the Rings online. I've worked on the games. I know a little bit about Tolkien, his background, and the broader environment. All of the responses against him, or what Elon has said there, and others have also since, I presume, or concurrently been broadcasting about this, right? They're all jumping on him, just saying like, no, The Lord of the Rings is a story of multiculturalism, of how many people can come together and unite against one great evil.
You see, I've never watched or read The Lord of the Rings. Were there many stabbings involved?
Well, actually, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there were.
Right then, isn't he?
It's funny you say that, because there is actually a very important one in a segment that is cut out of the Peter Jackson and actually all major film versions that have been done, including the Ralph Bakshi one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not even in the Return of the King animation that followed up later from the Bakshi one. Right? I'll rewatch it again. I did watch it a few weeks ago, but I've forgotten. But this is the thing, is that like he's not wrong at all.
Yeah.
You are correct, and you're certain he's not wrong. Tolkien, you got to think of the age that Tolkien grew up in, right? And the age that he lived through.
Yeah.
And the age that he wrote this. And this is deep in the age as well of the rise of people like the Fabian Society and their control matrix over this country. You know, he had his obvious companionship with people like C.S. Lewis, right? Don't forget who came up with the Normandy landings. Do you know this piece of trivia?
No, go on.
So, there's several people, obviously lots of people worked on it, but very prominently, Ian Fleming
Oh, right.
and Roald Dahl.
Interesting.
And again, there's a whole thing we can go into with that of like, hold on a second, that's a bit interesting. It's like, they worked on Normandy. Do you mean they scripted Normandy? I mean, again, tinfoil hat, like, you know, we could go way out a whole episode on that one. Well, again, it's this control matrix of like, you know, telling lies, you know, like, again, no one's saying that Normandy didn't happen, but was it under what we've been told?
Well, they don't call it a theatre of war for nothing.
Exactly, and all the world's a stage. And again, like Candice was pointing out, all the military actors involved with Charlie Kirk and
Christ,
all that.
I forgot that. You couldn't. 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a coincidence, but getting beyond 3 or 4 of those, that is.
Yes, exactly.
Immense.
So, I mean, this is the thing, though. He points it out there, and the woman in the phone-in points out as well, or at least stumbles on it, Julia Hartley-Brewer, in her disgusting... my
heart goes, that annoys me. That bloody annoys me.
False virtue. The false virtue of it is just absolutely off the scale.
Just have a default setting. I know I reference Question Time every week, but it will be on there this week as well. Well, last question. Well, my first start by saying, we know. Stop wasting a minute on bullshit that we know is a given.
Yeah,
Just
and don't and
they all feel sorry for you. Okay.
Yeah. And with Hartley Brewer, it's so dismissive as well. It's so. If people want a point of reference, Paul Heyman once did an interview with Sonny for I think it was ECW or something. Where he's like just asking him about the death of someone. I mean, it was a cousin or something. So he's like describing holding her hand and like what's he died of in detail. And he's constantly like, "Oh, that's so terrible. Tell me more." Yeah, right. It's that same.
Or you go into a one-shot segue.
Gross,
that's terrible. It's
Hartley Brewer gave that off, but she quickly said there is this part of the problem of the people making these decisions, and like we mentioned earlier, these people who are suicidally. I was going to say virtue signaling, but it's altruistic, suicidal altruism, right? And
could be
these people, like Elon points out, and like the lady stumbled on, and like Hartley Brewer pointed out there, the people making decisions and the people who are supporting those decisions do not live anywhere near this, right?
So
in the uproar with it, right, these people all slamming on there, and one guy goes, "Oh, well, I live in the middle of nowhere, like outside Hull or something, right? Or in Lincoln." Well, I think it might have been Lincoln, actually.
Flatlands.
And they took a picture of, like, their particular village, which literally has, like, a pub and 6 houses in it.
Yeah, and a phone
like
box.
You say, stone... cut houses, no kebab shop.
I was trying to think of
Chipping Norton set, that's it, but you know, no kebab house, no vape shops, none of that, going, well, you know, I live here and I don't see any of this.
No, well, you bloody.
It's like, well,
do.
wait until they move an HMO or a freaking asylum hotel into your area or an Air Force base.
Yeah. Who was it?
In your
one,
area.
I want to say it's Rees Mogg. I don't think it's Rees Mogg, but one politician was particularly hectored and pilloried and was having his house, things chucked at his house, put up on his roof. I think it was Rees Mogg, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Protests on his roof. He sent the police round, didn't he?
Yep.
To round them all up and barricade the place.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could all do that. The poor people in Uxbridge and Hounslow who are fearing for their lives. Oh, shall have a couple of hefty bouncers walk around with us in case we get stabbed.
The thing is, I was going to say, it's not like they have access to the gated community, but unfortunately in Jersey Road, there are like several big gated houses, you know, and again, the Sultan of Brunei lives right there as well, actually, next to Osterley Park. So, again, the key point there, though, is that these people are so far removed from the actual issue that they absolutely cannot ever admit, just like the moon landing fake thing that we keep saying, you can show them the evidence as much as you want, and they're just going to post a picture that makes our point.
Yeah.
Look in my tiny rural village in the middle of nowhere that hasn't had one of these hotels set up yet. Oh, it hasn't happened to me. Well, tell me that you're making my point for me without telling me.
But it's good that in times of these sort of crises with always going on in the country, that our illustrious leader and the mayor are in Brazil on a jolly.
Of course they are.
This is through no sense of irony.
No.
At a climate conference. Let's just see how much CO2 that's going to use. They probably flew across separately.
Yeah.
And also, what's her name? Brabham from up at Tracy Brabham? Some random mayor from Oop North.
Yeah.
Has jumped on his jolly as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I swear, like, we've had that with some of our local councillors and people just like, jollying off places.
Ukraine, very popular this time of year with buses of
aid going over there. Yeah, again, aid that could probably be much better used in our local area where, at least 2 tramps died on the street in the last 24 months, 12 months. Like one of them right outside the library.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it hilarious and insulting. You go into town right now and you see on the War Memorial a beautiful flower arrangement.
Yes, and it is beautiful.
Red roses or poppies or whatever coming down, symbolising the blood that was symbolising the blood that was shed. And this ties into what I'm going to say in a second to round up the Lord of the Rings thing, right? The blood that was shed by our brothers and sisters, lest we forget, right? And right next to it, you got the town hall still flying the Ukrainian flag.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't know, do some damn research, okay? Please. Go back and watch our previous 2 episodes if you want some information that will lead you down a path of, oh, wait a minute, Ukraine's not what we've been told it is, right?
Yeah. Well, we always said that. He's going to be the richest man in the world before long. The amount of money he's had out of people.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously that's a slight digression, but it does tie in again. No, it does tie in again because, like I say, I put it in the description, right, is that we are building to a point here that is, again, with Tolkien, like we just said there, with like, he lived through those wars, right? And a lot of what he was writing about was experiences based on his own experiences. I think was the Boer War one of them, it was a big influence. But obviously the Great War, the Second World War, right, these are big influences on this guy's life. And not just his, but the people he knew and the people around him. And it ties very in because I said, like, we're being pushed. This country is being pushed. People are being pushed. That poor woman is being pushed. Yeah. To the point where she's in absolute tears over this, right? And I think that analogy couldn't be any more correct because I said, are we on the precipice of our own Battle of Bywater, or are we about to fall like the Mines of Moria? Because, as he points out, Musk and the others that are saying this, we are basically the hobbits, right? And we're under the subjugation of a government that is acting like the dwarves that led to the fall of Moria, right? Because back then, right, back when Moria fell, right, the Khazad-dûm, which is the name of the dwarves back then, the Khazad-dûm, and they were really trying to get hold of Mithril. The fabled Mithril, of which both Bilbo and Frodo have. Oh, sorry, Frodo has the mithril shirt that he
Right.
wears under his shirt that can block blades and such, orc blades.
That's useful.
Yeah. Well,
Bring it
again,
back.
you mentioned about was there any knife attacks in it, right? Like, well, so these guys were trying to get mithril, like super precious metal, and their greed overwhelmed them, right? And they dug so deep into the mines, they awakened Durin's Bane.
Are we doing that?
Now, Durin's Bane is what people know as the Balrog, but it's a Balrog, not the Balrog. A Balrog are a group, yeah. Like whereas Durin's Bane was a specific one. Okay, and in the Third Age, I mean, again, listen to this and think about the situation we're in. In the Third Age, Balin attempted to reclaim Moria. But unfortunately, their presence attracted the attention of all the orcs and goblins who had come to occupy Moria over the years, right? And they eventually trapped him and his expedition in the chamber of Mazabul and killed them, right? And by the time we get to the War of the Ring, Lord of the Rings, this is what our fellowship walks into, of like, an absolutely derelict, once great city, great civilization, great mine, completely decimated and gone. And it's one of the things that dwarves in either The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings often talk about, is the glory that they want to bring back. And it's a big part of the films, actually. It's totally overrun by the orcs and goblins, who bit by bit are just like in. Okay, and that's a kind of warning of what can happen when it does get too far and you do try to retake it. And I say it follows on even more, because when you look at the chunk at the end of the Return of the King that no one seems to want to put in a film, and you can probably tell why, was the Battle of Bywater. Okay, so once the ring has been, once the Fellowship return to the Shire, what Pippin and Merrin find is that the Shire, in their absence, has been taken away by Lotho Sackville Baggins. Right, but unfortunately, he's fallen to the influence of Sauron and Wormtongue. Okay, and his ruffians from the south, or ruffians from the southeast of the UK, in Westminster, if you like. Right, and as such, the Shire has slowly been turned into this shadow of its former self, where more and more of these ruffians, the Urkai and the goblins and whatever, have been slowly brought in and tolerated more and more and more, and eventually it ends up with them like basically felling all of the trees, and like it's a shadow of its former self. It's ridden of all of the flora and fauna, beset by waters, poisoned from industrial mills, that they have now put in there. So Merry and Pippin, with their newfound courage, through their adventures with the Fellowship, lead the hobbits in scouring the Shire, which is the phrase that everyone is shouting out now. It's like, we're scouring the Shire, must occur, right? And following that as well, Samwise Gamgee uses, he restores the flora eventually. Once they've scoured everyone and got rid of them all and kicked them all out, he restores the flora of the Shire with Galadriel's Lady Garden Dust. So
you can't beat a Lady Garden Dust, can you really?
A good bit of magical Lady Garden Dust.
No.
But again, you listen to that and it's like, like there's been this insidious sort of progression, and now the orcs and the goblins are everywhere. Yeah, and that's the analogy people are drawing, and I think unfortunately a lot of people do. I think there is some precedence in that. And
it draws parallels to Ukraine. Whatever you think about Ukraine, you think Putin's bombing the hell out of it because he wants it. When he gets it, there's going to be nothing left. Like his country, the government are reducing it to its component parts. So when it's finally down to its bare bones, that's what's left of this country. There's nothing else left of it. So what have they actually achieved, apart from beating everyone down into submission and going, we don't give a shit anymore?
Well, it helps you to usher in a new order, doesn't it? As what all
We're
these
going
things
to
always
control.
do.
I'll tell you, if Labour were in charge in COVID, we'd still be locked down.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it'd
they
be
banged
20
on, didn't
years
they?
to flatten the curve.
Too much control. Boris did lock down too soon. He did go mental with the schools, but what can you do? No one's going to do anything ain't different. But tell you what, if Labour been in charge then, especially the Muppets we've got in there at the moment, call that power!
Yep.
Like at Tesco, you can see nothing yet, mate.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Like I say, I think, and the thing is, unfortunately, as well, is this does tie into what I was saying again. Like, I step back from this and I look at it, and obviously, you know, I enjoy, like, you know, reciting the Tolkien that's relevant here, and I do like seeing the way people are kind of realizing what Tolkien was kind of getting at, like 100 odd years ago, right?
You can go back to 1984, can't you? As well?
Yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely.
Big Brother, that's never going to happen. We're never going to be in a totalitarian state where we're being watched the whole time.
Again, that's the thing. That's what the Shire turned into. It turned into a totalitarian state. And as I said, like you mentioned, was there any knives? At the summit of that is Pippin and Merry get to Saruman and Wormtongue, and Saruman reveals that Wormtongue actually killed Sackville Baggins, and Wormtongue then shanks Saruman. He shanks Saruman. Yeah, because Saruman tries to shank Frodo, I think it is, in the chest, but obviously he's wearing the mithril.
Yeah, which you need. On a train these days.
Yeah, obviously.
Or deep heat spray apparently is good.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of talk about that as well.
Spray.
But this is the thing, like we're getting to that point where, like I say, do we have a Battle of Bywater? Do we have a point we're reaching, like when in First Contact, Picard says we draw a line in the sand, this point here and no further?
Yeah.
And is it time that we do stake our staff in the ground and say, you shall not pass?